Welcome to Forgotten Coast Fishing. My name's David, and I put out weekly videos fishing inshore and offshore, showing you what I do to find and catch fish. If that sounds appealing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss my future videos. So we're out in the Grady today. We're sitting in about 120 feet of water, and I thought we were going to have a little bit calmer day today, but the Grady got us out just fine. But we're just going to kind of throw some things out there and see what we can grab today. We could get some vermilion snappers, lane snappers, those kind of things to put in the box, but red grouper season just came in a couple weeks ago, so maybe we'll grab one of those. All right, we're showing some good marks on the depth finder. It looks like it's kind of smaller fish, at least for now. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set out this standard chicken rig. This is a 6-ounce sinker at the bottom. This is made up with 40-pound mono, and these are 3/0 circle hooks. And this is just some dead frozen shrimp left over from an inshore fishing trip. And then I've got a swivel up here. This is 40-pound braid. This is a Shimano Talus PX heavy rod, and this is a Penn Battle 6000. I saw some dolphins when I first drove up. I haven't seen them in a few minutes, so maybe they're gonna leave us alone today. Okay, we got them. Man, they were kind of playing with it instead of just kind of snatching it. I was wondering if this shrimp was gonna do the trick or not. I'm just kind of throwing this little chicken rig out here just mainly to see what's down here. It's like a trigger fish. No, a little snapper. Vermilion. All right, yeah, it's a vermilion. Yes, yes, yes. Now this is what I was wanting. This is what I was hoping those marks were. This is a vermilion, also called a beeliner, and we can keep 10 of these per person. They only have to be 10 inches long, so these are really good eating. But let's get him in the box and see if we can't get some more of these. All right, and to put this shrimp on, I'm just kind of taking the head off, and then I'm just running this hook down the body of the shrimp. And right here at the end of the tail, it gets kind of tough. And see, I've kind of worked my hook out that little tough part, and it seems to hold a little better like that. Okay, here we go again. All right. Oh, this one feels a little bigger than the other one. Man, I hope those dolphins really stay away. That makes getting these vermilions really hard to get up to the surface if these dolphins show up, because I have to work so hard to get them up. And a lot of times it tears the vermilion's mouth before I can get them up because I'm trying to work them so hard. So let's see what this is. Oh, yep. Oh, red snapper. These smaller red snappers like this will kind of trick you into thinking they're vermilions for a second, but no, this is a red snapper. All right, got him. I didn't go, oh man, what happened? Oh no, is he still there? Man, that was strange. It's like something else came up and got it. Yeah, something came out up and got it. It was just like a bam. And you can see right here, broke my my rig here. So there's something else down there grabbing that fish on the way up. I haven't seen the dolphin, so maybe it's one of those groupers that we're after. Well, let me I've got some jigs. Let me throw a jig down real quick and see if, you know, we can maybe pull up a grouper. All right, so I'm going to start out with this 150-gram Johnny jig and just see if we can't attract something that way. I sure hope that was a red grouper that pulled that, whatever we had on, vermilion possibly. So we know there's vermilion down there. Red grouper like vermilion. All right, so I've just kind of gotten to the bottom. I'm gonna crank it up just a little bit. I'm gonna work the bottom first. Check my drag before I get too involved in all this. Oh man, oh yeah, here he is. I wasn't even jigging it. I had just, oh man, I had just stopped to fix my drag because I hadn't done that yet. And here we go. We got a good one. All right. I don't know what my drag is set at. It's not taking it out, so it's probably pretty tight. But that's okay because I want to pull him off the reef All right, as long as we don't break our line. It's got some good weight to it if you can't tell. All right, what have we got? Man, way to go, jig. Way to go. What have we got? An amberjack? No? Yeah, an amberjack. Well, that was fun. Man, you can see how this amberjack, and he's not a super huge one, but you see how much weight these guys have and how much power they have when they pull, getting back down to that reef. Man, well, that was fun. All right, well, let's get him off and get him back. Now, this is a greater amberjack, not a Almaco jack. This greater amberjack has more of a torpedo shape, and this dorsal fin is not as tall as it would be in an Almaco, because this is about the size of a good-sized Almaco, so it could get confusing sometimes, but that's a good way to tell. Just check that dorsal fin. Well, let's get him back. Oh, good torpedo too. Oh, here he is again. All right, man, on the jig again. All right, I love jigs and artificials. It's like it's kind of like what you do inshore with a lot of those jigs and paddle tails and topwaters. Well, you can do that same thing out here. You're obviously going to get bigger fish, and you got to have bigger, different types of jigs, but it can be a fun way to catch fish. And this got us another red snapper. All right, look at that. Red snapper's grabbing this jig too. Nice little red snapper. There you go. I do want to get some more of those vermilions, but I can't be in two places at one time, and this is just too much fun to pass up. Oh, here he is again. All right, man, this is a bigger one than that red snapper. I have caught a fish on every drop using the chicken rig and then now this jig. Man, it's just amazing. If you can get out here in the winter like this, it sure is a lot of fun. Got to get those rare days that you can do it, but when you can, and if you can, man, get out here, because this is just a lot of fun. What have we got here? I don't think he's that amberjack again, but you never know. Feels more like that red snapper. They kind of give out here towards the end. Oh man, it's a mangrove snapper. Oh, look at this, everybody. Look at this mangrove snapper. Look at him on the jig. Check him out. Man, that is a nice mangrove. Let's get him off the hook and see what he measures. Well, he's going in the box for sure. Look at this nice mangrove snapper. Let's see what he weighs on the boga. I mean, he's not a super heavy one, but he's about 4 pounds, 4-pound mangrove, and he measures 18.5 inches. Look at this guy. Get him in the sun. Look how beautiful these things are. You know, I was wanting these vermilions, something for the box, but we'll take these mangroves any day too. Oh man, I didn't even work it. Oh, we got off. Wow, man, that just went to the bottom. I set the bail and I had a fish. Wow, man, this jig is just deadly with these guys right now. Oh, here he is. Okay, got him. All right, let's see if we can stay hooked. We've lost 2 that have gotten off the hook prior to this one, so hopefully we stay hooked with this one. All right, man, feels pretty decent. Pretty decent. Man, I'm just surprised by how we're getting the fish with every drop on this jig. And I paused for a few minutes to get that mangrove off and get a picture and everything, but it's just picking right back up. And what have we got? Oh, it's our red grouper. It's our red grouper. We got our red grouper, although I don't think he's going to be 20 inches, which is what they need to be a keeper. But this was what we were hoping for. Let's check him out. See if he can squeeze to be 20 inches. No, he was just 15 inches, but a nice red grouper. There you go, buddy. All right, send your big brothers this way. All right, so that jig bite seems to have died. So I'm gonna go back to this chicken rig setup, see if we can maybe grab some more of those vermilion snappers. All right, yep, they're still here. All right, man. What have we got? Oh, he's got some good pull to him. Most likely not a vermilion, unless it's a really big one or two of them. Maybe it's that big mangrove again. Well, we'd love to get another one of those in the box. Man, we're just getting a pap, 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 pap. Let's see what it is. Turning like a trigger. What have we got? Oh man, a good trigger. I think he would have been a keeper if it was still triggerfish season. Yeah, he's a nice one. That's a nice trigger for out here. Yeah, he's 16. This guy would have been a keeper if it was triggerfish season. But that's a nice trigger right there. Let's let him get back to the bottom. All right, we're pretty much able just to winch this one in without having to pump the rod or anything. Here he comes. Tom Tate. All right, now we know what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this guy immediately on that big Carolina rig on a 7/0 circle hook, 60-pound leader, which is what I tied up before I came out. It probably should be 80, seeing how we've caught some bigger fish. And this is just a little short section of that same 60-pound mono, 2 swivels on either end, just to let that weight slide back and forth a little bit. And then this is 40-pound braid, and I've got that on this bigger conventional reel here, and see if we can't pick up our big grouper that way. So I'm going to hook this guy kind of there in the nostrils. It's kind of a hard spot. There we go, just like that. Oh, okay, here he is. All right, we got him. All right, on the Tom Tate. All right, oh man. All right, he's going back to that reef. Oh, let's see if we could get him up before he gets in the reef. That's our only chance of getting him. Oh man, I got this drag on this reel pretty tight. Oh, come on, man. Oh, he's trying to get to the reef. Oh, if I can just get him out, get him away from the reef. All right, I think we did it. Right at danger of the reef, as long as he doesn't get a second wind. All right, seems like we're tiring him out. What have we got? Oh man. Well, we got a grouper, a gag grouper, but a shark got him on the way up. Dang, man. Now we wouldn't have be able to keep him anyway, but got nothing but a head. Like I said, when I put that Tom Tate on, hopefully that'll get the big grouper. It did. Too bad the shark got the grouper. Look at that. Wonder what size shark that was. I sort of saw it swimming away, just a faint color, but man, he got that whole grouper in one bite. So instead of feeding the shark and chumming up the water and keeping the shark here, I think I'll put this guy in a bag, bury him in ice, and see what meat we can kind of get off of him when we get to the house. Wow, that was something else, wasn't it? Gotta clean our boat too. All right, I'm gonna try this jig again. Oh, here he is. Oh, here he is. Okay. Oh, on the jig, on the jig, on the jig. Oh man, did he get off? How are these guys getting off? That's about the third or so one on this jig that we've lost. Now, one of them, the hook came off, but obviously he's not getting hooked, or maybe it's tearing their mouth. But man, it's got a treble hook on it. You'd think that's pretty difficult to get off if you got them hooked. Well, nonetheless, the jig is working. That's the main thing. We're getting strikes and getting them hooked for a amount of time at some point, but eventually we'll get one of these in. Oh man, did you see me? I was just reeling this in to change it or do something different, and something grabbed it. But once again, he didn't get hooked. Oh man, I got him. I don't want him to get down to the reef. Oh geez. All right. I'm just gonna try to wear him out. I was trying to mimic that reeling it into the surface like I was doing before when I had that strike, but he got off. And I was just kind of working it, jigging it, almost kind of like, I don't know, maybe like you would a topwater, a little subsurface thing, just a reel and twitch and a reel and twitch. And this guy got on about halfway up, which is a good thing because I've got more water between him and the bottom to start out my fight. He's less likely to get down to the reef, and starting to make some headway. What have we got? Man, amberjack, a nice one. All right, on the jig, another amberjack. This is a bigger one than the other two we've gotten. But even if he was in season, he would be too small because they've got to be 34 inches to keep. That's a pretty big fish. All right, look at this hook. It's not even in his mouth. Look at this. Hopefully this is catching. Just this little loop of the, it's like his lips. It's caught in his lips, just like that. And we were able to get him in. And just to give you an idea, so this guy is 23 inches. So they've got to be another 11 inches, almost half of this, to be able to keep. That's a big fish. Well, let's get this guy back. And that wasn't surprising that that was an amberjack with the way I was working it, because I was just kind of reeling, jerking, not too fast, but up to the surface. So I've caught a lot of amberjack, you know, in that mid water column and up on half-ounce jigs, ounce jigs, just casting them out there like you would for trout or redfish. So they like to come up and grab things like that. The good thing about it, like I was saying when I was fighting it, is if you can catch those bigger fish like that up in the water column, you have a better chance of getting them to the boat without them getting down the reef, just simply by the fact that you're starting your fight, you know, halfway up or so, as opposed to right next to the reef. All right, wind's sort of starting to pick up, and we're gonna go ahead and head on in before it gets too bad, and we'll see you at the house. All right, so here's our grouper head that we got back, what the shark left us anyway. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try to get some of this meat off. I'm gonna try to get the cheeks off, as well as maybe the throat. We'll just kind of see what's left here that we can salvage. First off, let's try to get this fillet meat right here. The problem is you don't have anything to hang on to. You know, what you would normally hang on to is gone, but I'm still just going to try to fillet it along the backbone same way. There we go, something right there. That's not bad. There we go, that side was a lot easier. Yeah, that's not too bad. That would make, you know, good fillet for 2 people right there. All right, let's see if we can get these cheeks out. To get these cheeks off, you've kind of got kind of a triangle sort of shape, this sort of shape in here. And it's kind of a, you know, it's kind of thick in the middle and it thins out, so you're gonna have to kind of scoop it out. So there's all kind of ways to do it. If you just kind of feel where the soft spot starts, kind of get you, poke a hole, and then I'm just gonna kind of go almost here to the eye, and then just kind of work it around, trying to kind of scoop it out the best you can. And there's some meat up here that we want to try to get to, so go right on top of the mouth. That's pretty good right there. And once you get to this point, you can kind of fillet it off the skin. If you kind of get your knife started, then you can just sort of pull it off from there. It just separates from the skin. I just used, you see what I did? I just kind of put my thumbs and just kind of raked it off like that. And you got your cheek. And this was our cheek from the other side. So not a whole lot of meat there on this. It's not the biggest grouper out there, but that wasn't too bad. All right, let's see if we can salvage any of this throat. So I'm gonna try to go separate this part right behind the gills. There's this part you got to cut through. And once we get that, then we can go around underneath of it. And then you're just going to kind of separate some of this membrane type material. All right, and then we'll get it separated on the other side. There we go. All right, I know we're getting kind of dark, but we were able to salvage a decent amount of it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and fry up that grouper throat and the grouper cheeks that we were able to get from that head that we brought back. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and cleaned it. I've kind of cut as much of that membrane off as I could, and there's my 2 cheeks right there. We're gonna coat it with this Louisiana seasoned crispy fish fry. We like this brand a lot. It's got a lot of cornmeal in it, which is going to give you kind of more of a crunch. And I've spiced it up with this Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. Now this does have a little bit of heat to it, so you want to take it easy if you don't like things too hot. All right, we're going to kind of coat our grouper throat on both sides with this seasoning, trying to get in all these little crevices that we can, as well as our little grouper cheeks. And meanwhile, we've got our cast iron pot heated up to 350 degrees. All right, we're gonna go ahead and lower our grouper throat in there first. And we're gonna kind of watch this. This could go 6 to 8 minutes or so, making sure we get kind of it fully cooked. All right, look at that, everybody. Wonderful grouper throat. That ended up going at 350 degrees for 8 minutes. Now let's go ahead and get our cheeks in. I wanted to do these separate just because they're so much smaller and they're going to cook a lot faster, and I was afraid of them getting lost mixed in there with the grouper throat. So this will go for about 3 minutes maybe. All right, so these are done. They went about 3.5 minutes. What I normally look for as opposed to time is when the bubbles kind of start to slow down. That usually means the fish is done. Look at that plate right there, everybody. All right, we're gonna go give it a taste test, and I've made this homemade remoulade sauce that we're gonna use for dipping. All right, look at this. This looks wonderful. So I'm gonna try my grouper cheeks first. Man, it's fried fish, but you can almost tell it's grouper. It's got that sweeter taste to it. And these cheeks were not that hard to cut out. So next time you catch a grouper, go ahead and cut those cheeks out. All right, now let's give this grouper throat a bite. Man, there again. All in all, it's fried fish, but you can tell it's grouper. I mean, it's nice and white and flaky, got that sweet grouper taste to it. So the throat was a little bit more difficult to cut out than those cheeks, obviously, but as you can see, it was well worth it, especially when we only brought back the head. And this remoulade sauce really adds to that grouper as well. And I'll leave how I did this down in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. That way you won't miss my future videos. So until next time, hope to see you on another episode of Forgotten Coast Fishing.